Hi, and welcome to the 16th episode of the Yarn Junkie Podcast. That's right, name change. I hope it's not confusing to any of you guys. I just felt it was like false advertisement to constantly call myself the Crochet Junkie when I just really don't have a lot of crochet projects at the present time. So Yarn Junkie's much more fitting. It's true, I'm a yarn junkie. I see it, I need it, I get it. So yeah, now you can find me as Yarn Junkie on most of the social media outlets. I'm on Instagram as _Yarn Junkie. I'm on Ravelry as Yarn Junkie 6. There's a Ravelry group, the Yarn Junkie Podcast. I would love it if you came and introduced yourself, told me a little bit about you and what you're working on. I've had some new subscribers lately. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're new, if you've been around forever, just thanks. This is one of the highlights of my week, is sitting down and talking about my projects and not boring my family with it, and to have some knitting friends to connect with. So I am recording a couple of days late this week. I usually record on Tuesdays and it's Friday. It's just been a very busy week, and I haven't gotten a chance to sit down until today. So hi, a few days late. But I'm here. I didn't want to skip a week. I thought about it, and I just have a lot to show you, so I just thought, it's late, who cares? I did finish a trellis pencil socks that I showed you on the last episode, the number 2 socks, and of course, I don't have them to show you because she's wearing them to school. Today was crazy sock day at school, and she was very excited to wear them. I did wash and block them. They look amazing. I do wish that I would have, I guess I'll talk about this later, but knit the brown and black part a little bit longer. I stopped at the yellow right where her pinky toe starts, and I wish I would have, stopped it further up the foot. That way it has more of the brown and black. But you can go on my project page on Ravelry and check out the picture, because I did post a project page for my pencil socks, and that I did those with Sarah from the Love Sock Wool podcast. She was hosting a knit along, and the yarn I got from Yarn Enabler off of Etsy. And when I took them to knit night last night to show off that they were finished, I think I enabled a few of those ladies to look up the Yarn Enabler and maybe get themselves some pencil sock yarn. So definitely check out her shop, the Yarn Enabler on Etsy. She's got really cute yarns, and I like them. I want quite a few of them. I have them favorited. So I also finished, did you hear that sigh? You know that's not going to be good. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this and probably told me that, it's okay, but my husband is the one that was like, no way, that's way too big. Go lay down. Lucy is coming over to say hi. So this is my Neuro pullover, and I don't know if you can tell, but it grew like crazy in the wash, and it's so stretched out. So before I even washed it, I tried it on, and it was just, first let me say, I ran out of yarn again making this. Lucy, can you stop scratching? Go somewhere else if you want to scratch. Go lay down. So I ran out of yarn again. This is it. I say it's finished, but it's not, because I still need to do the border stitches all the way, and then also the cuff is supposed to have a cable attachment, but I didn't have enough yarn, and again, it's supposed to be edged. But I ran out of yarn. I need a whole nother ball if I'm going to want to do that. But so the armholes are way too large, as you can probably see. It hangs down to here. I'll just try it on right quick so you can see how awful it is. Do you love my kitty ears? Meow. I thought I would get a little dressed up for Halloween. I did have on these cute cat eyeglasses, but you can see there's a glare on them, and it wasn't any good for the video. So, it's October. We need to dress up. And I'm going to dress up. for my podcast for the month of October. So I'll try on my sweater so you can see how large it is. So it is supposed to have a deep, oops, so sorry that I bumped you. It's supposed to have a plunging neckline, but that's much more than the picture shows on the pattern. And you can see here, like, there's my underarm. So it's got all of this extra fabric here. And the sleeves were like this. And I was like, oh, the sleeves are going to be too short, because I really don't like that. As a taller person, I like my sleeves to be about right there. But now, you know, since it's been washed, that's where the sleeves are. And I'm going to stand up so you can see. I still have my pajama pants on. It's still early here. It's only about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So this was supposed to be more like on the waist, but now it comes down more like a sweater dress. And you can see again the sleeves, how long they are. So yeah, this is an absolute disaster. It's just huge. And I don't know if I should frog it and make something else that I can wear, or if I should just leave it and have it as a sort of cozy house sweater. I do like the yarn. I love the way it's softened up now that it's washed. It's a mohair silk wool blend. It's Neuro yarn in colors 84. And I'm just so bummed because, I mean, this took me about 2 months of not, you know, working on it every day or anything. But I started it in August and I just finished it in October. So that's 2 months. Only to have a garment not fit. I'm pretty sad. I'm pretty sad. And I think what I can do is, if I wanted to keep this style of sweater, is rip it out because it's seamed. So I'll have to unseam it, take out some rows of the sleeves, and take out some rows of this piece and the back piece, I guess. I don't know, guys. One of my knitting friends did say to pop it in the dryer to try to shrink it, but I don't think shrinking it will get rid of, you know, excess fabric under the arm. That's not going to go away. What? Why can't I just make something and just have a thing after the end of it without, you know, errors and troubleshooting and sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I am going to leave this on because it is so cozy. It is so cozy, and I would have loved to have this fit me because I think it will look amazing with jeans. It's just a good winter sweater that's now completely useless. So, and again, there's a project page for this. You can check out my project page and see my notes on it. I don't have very many notes other than I keep running out of yarn. I followed the pattern, word for word. I don't know what happened. So I did a gauge swatch. Everything, guys. I did everything right. Used the yarn the pattern asked for. Did a gauge swatch. Followed the pattern exactly. And I don't have a finished garment that I'm happy with wearing. So sad. Tell me that I'm not the only one that this has happened to. Tell me that you've made a sweater or something that is just awful. Drinking coffee out of my mug. I got it Stitches. I've been obsessed with this mug. It's been my daily user since Stitches. And I like to change up my mugs because I feel like they get sad. If one hasn't been used in a while, I say, oh, it's lonely. Let me use that one. I'm a nutcase. Self-proclaimed nutcase. And I did enter this into the Little Bobbins knit along. Danny from a Little Bobbins podcast is hosting a purposeful stash along. And basically the rules were very, very loose. You just needed to knit something from yarn that you had in your stash. And I bought this last year for my birthday. And I'll go ahead and show you. I've showed this before on most of my episodes, but what it's supposed to look like on the model. So you can see it's got the V, but it doesn't go down. Mine goes down to like there on me. I don't know, I mean, like, mine pretty much looks like that. Looking at it on the model now, maybe I should have realized how this was going to fit. I don't know. Oh well, oh well. I think maybe that's my solution though. Sitting here wearing it now, it's very cozy, and maybe it'll just be my house sweater and I won't really wear it. That really bothers me. I'm going to be playing with my underarm fabric for the rest of the show, guys. Nothing else to see here. So I said I would be frogging it, but who knows? I have not worked on my fall cardigan at all. It's still sitting over there in the corner in a box. I need to work on it. I want to work on it, especially now that this is such an epic failure. I have to prove to myself that the cardigan I'm designing is going to fit me because I'm designing it for my body. We'll see. We'll see if I even work on it because, again, it's crocheting, which I'm just not in love with currently. And the yarn choice, though it is the same yarn as I have a store-bought cardigan for, it's just not my favorite. And it's an acrylic, wool, millions of other kinds of fiber blend. And yeah, I love the color of it. It's beautiful. Let me just grab it so I can show you. I'm back. So, attached to a ball here. Yeah. So again, with it being October, fall is upon us, and I really do want to finish this. And I am entering this into the Fall in Love knit along with the Herb Splat podcast, Regina from the Herb. I'm sure I'm butchering that pronunciation. It's like a German name, so. But you can search it if you don't know the podcast. It's a great podcast, and I love everything she works on. So I'm practically done with this. I have to finish the 2 front panels and seam it all together. Yeah, that would take me no time at all if I just sat down and worked on it. But I've been so in love with other things. Like, it's fall, y'all. So Andy from the Andre Sue Knits podcast posted to Instagram that she made a little pumpkin. So my whips, now that we're done with our finished objects, I started this little tiny pumpkin. I still need to do a topper on it, and it's misshapen, but I think it adds to the pumpkin charm. And now I just want to crochet and knit all the fall decorations. So I also started with some minis I have, or just regular random fall scraps. I started leaves for some fall decorations around my house. So here's one that I did, and this is the Happy Berry Crochet maple leaf pattern. Happy Berry Crochet is the blog, and she designed a maple leaf pattern. I love maple leaves. I love the shape of them. I might do some other shapes of different leaves, but just maples. Got this one. This one's my favorite. I love that. I really like this red one too. It's very dark, but like a burgundy red. It's not really showing up good. This one was a Trellis favorite. This was the same yarn. This one and this one are sock scraps from my husband's socks. This was my first socks, Patton's Croy Bramble Stripes. And these, I think, were my second or third socks, and it's the Patton's Croy Clover colorway. So, and I also have, this one's really cute. And of course I still have all my ends to weave in. And I'm doing just a little, like a bunting, a leaf bunting. So I have a brown single crochet foundation single crochet. How do you say that? The foundation single crochet. That's what I'm doing. In this color, which is Pecan Hole Madeline Tosh Twist Light. And I'm not very far on my bunting. And I would like to do 2 of these each, and then some other colors maybe. If I can find some more fall-esque colors in my stash. You know, I've mentioned this before, but I swear it's the weirdest thing, because as soon as I start podcasting, my nose starts running. And I actually have a tissue here. It's like I'm allergic to podcasting. Is that weird? Because my nose never runs. I don't have allergy problems or anything. And as soon as I start doing this, I'm like, so sorry about that. So sorry. What else am I working on? My fall decorations. I am also getting pretty far. This is my bird leg bag, chicken bag with eggs. This is seriously my favorite bag, I think. I don't know that I can say that. I love all my bags. So this is the farmhouse shawl. Oh no, I did away with the picture. Farmhouse. So it's just a triangle shawl with fringe. And I love this. Love, love, love this. I'm loving working on this. I love the yarn. I love the needles I'm using. I love how easy it is, how quick it is, everything, everything. So here, you can't really see it because it's scrunched up. But last week, I was here where I had not knit all of my first ball yet. I was about to add my second. And I have added a second and knit all of that ball and added a third. So I am sailing away at this, on this. And I'm knitting this on size 8 carbons. The pattern calls for a size 9, but I didn't like the fabric I was getting with that, so I sized down. I kind of knit loose. And my stitch markers, again, are from Vintage Rose, and they're the Hobbit. I got a pipe in a Hobbit house. I love them. I love everything about this. Love my project bag, love my needles, love the yarn, love the pattern. This is such a great, and it's going to be so cozy. Speaking of cozy, this is going into the big cozy knit along with the Fawn and the Fox podcast. Laura from the Fawn and the Fox. I love her podcast, and she is doing a big cozy knit along. So anything to wear around your neck that is knit with more than a sport weight yarn, I want to say, definitely check her out on Ravelry and join in the knit along if you'd like to knit a shawl. She also has a gorgeous Etsy shop with amazing project bags that I'm coveting currently and working on getting those into my stash, into my bag stash. I'm definitely going to need one from her because they are too cute. So that's all I have to say about that. Very, very nice pattern. Really enjoying it. And that is also my local yarn store has a tea time on Tuesdays, and they're doing this knit along. And I had never been to the tea time before, but I was in town running errands this Tuesday, which is why I didn't have a podcast. And I stopped in and knit a couple rows and met some of the ladies there, and it was really nice. There's actually now a couple of the others that are doing the knit along. I know I originally said no one was doing the knit along, but now I think 3 or 4 people are doing it, so yay for more people knitting the shawl. I'm going to take a sip right quick. I'm also working on my Rosemont. Now, I didn't show y'all this, or I did show it to y'all, but I hadn't worked on it last time. And I know it's going to look like I haven't worked on it, but I have. Because I ripped back to the ribbing and re-knit with a smaller needle size. And I actually got more carbons in a size 7. The 8s were just a little too gappy, and the pattern calls for worsted weight in size 9 needles. But this is a worsted weight, but it's more like a light worsted. And I'm knit loose anyway, but I'm liking the fabric that I'm getting. I did think that I needed to size down all around, and I did the ribbing. This ribbing is with a size 6, and I did this ribbing with a size 5, but I don't like it. I like the ribbing with a size 6 better, so lots of work has gone into this, trying to make a garment that I'm going to be happy with. I am a bit worried. The back seems kind of big, especially since I think it will stretch a bit. But it's an open style cardigan, and so I think that it will be fine even if it is a bit oversized, because I kind of do, I buy most of my open cardigans when I buy them from the store a size or 2 larger, so I have room to layer long sleeve shirts and things underneath. So I'm loving this. I was not really excited about my yarn choice at the beginning of this project. I really didn't want to buy yarn for the knit along. It's a knit along with my local yarn store, and I didn't want to buy yarn because I knew that I had 2-3 sweater quantities worth of yarn in my stash, and I just didn't feel right about buying more yarn. But I wasn't happy with having to knit with this either, because, you know, new yarn, who doesn't want new yarn? But I resolved myself. I said, no, you're sticking to your word, and you're not getting new yarn. You're going to knit with something in the stash. And I'm so glad that I stuck to my word, because I love this. I loved it when I bought it. Now that I'm knitting it, it's been in my stash about a year, so of course in that time I kind of fell out of love with it, but now that I'm knitting with it, it's so much fun. It's very sparkly, and the color is very, very, very green. This is not doing it justice at all. It's actually a hard green to capture. It's called Evergreen. It's collage fibers. Let me see if I have a thing. I'm working on pulling it out of my bowl. Bear with me. Collage fibers and glisten. And it's 70% alpaca, 25% silk, and 5% stellene. I love it. I love it so much. And it's going to be a beautiful Christmas cardigan. I will be as shiny as the Christmas tree. I'm pretty happy about it. And I really like that I switched my needles. I was using the interchangeables from Knit Picks. I have only knit like one thing with those, and already the coating on them is kind of rubbed off, and whatever's underneath it just catches my hand in a really gross way. I'm a very tactile person. I think most hand workers are. People who love handcrafts love the texture of things. And so to have something just kind of grip my, I don't know, it was just a weird feeling, and I was not enjoying working with those needles. So I'm very glad I switched. I won't be buying any more Knit Picks needles. I've learned my lesson on that. I'm glad to have found that I do like carbons. I don't know, maybe it was my yarn choice when I started out with my first pair of carbons. I really do think it was my yarn choice, because even after I switched needles, and to be honest, the finished project, I'm just not in love with it, and I think it's because it's single ply yarn. Anything that I've ever made with single ply yarn, I've just kind of been like, meh. So single ply yarn is great for many people. I just don't like it. So another thing I'm working on I said I wouldn't start this until I had some other stuff finished. I totally started it anyway. Is my Halloween socks. And I am actually hosting my very first knit along. I would love if you joined me. It's a very loose, open knit along, crochet along, sew along, spin along, whatever craft you do. Post about it in my Halloween along. I would love to see it. That's the theme. It's just anything craft, anything Halloween related. And, you know, come and chat about it. Come and see my group. And I made my little progress keeper. He's on backwards, I guess, because he keeps turning around. I've had this thing forever. Jesus. Forever and ever and ever in my stash. And it was in my button box. And finally I was like, I need to make a progress keeper with that guy. I have no idea where he came from, no idea where I got him. Just something that randomly turned up in my stash of stuff. Isn't that strange? This little copper owl. I really do love copper. And this yarn is just, it sings my heart song. It does. The black, the purple, the green. The green is so electric. It's like gonna punch you in the face. I had all the lights off last night. We were watching Outlander. We just started the Outlander series, my husband and I. And I was so tired, so I turned off my light and set my knitting down and was completely engrossed in this show. So I was like, you know what, I should just pick up my knitting again. And I looked over and it's like glowing. Not really glowing, but I mean, you could see this green like it was glowing. It's so green. I love it. It's so Halloween-y. And I have that in my Cat's Kettle project bag. She has a podcast, but it's called the Yarn 30 podcast. I love her podcast, and she's got some videos up. They're great videos. She is taking a little hiatus from podcasting right now, which makes me kind of sad. But I understand, you know, family life. You've got to care for yourself before anything else. So her bag is awesome. I love it. It's got a pocket inside, and it's a really good size. And on my project bag, I have my Vintage Rose teeth zipper pull or progress keeper. I love these teeth. And so these are so much fun. I think I'm going to go ahead and do one more repeat of the colors and then do my heel on this one. And I'm not doing these two at a time, just one at a time. But I'm enjoying these. And I would love it if you would want to come knit along something with me or craft along something. Those are all my whips. I have done a little spinning, but it's been on the same fiber that I was spinning previously, so there's nothing really much to show you. I don't feel confident in my spinning still. I'm just muddling through it, I feel like. I would love to be a proficient spinner. It's just not something that I care about practicing very much. And so it frustrates me that I'm not any better when I don't put forth the effort to practice. Kind of goes hand in hand, right? I have stash enhancement. I felt so guilty because why do I do this to myself? But you know, my knitting friend told me last night, I asked her, I was like, are you in an enabling mood or a talking down mood? And she said, what mood do you want me to be in? And she said I shouldn't have stash guilt because it's stash enhancement. And it is. And eventually I will knit everything in my stash or work with everything in my stash, so there shouldn't be guilt, right? Right? Okay. So I really wanted to work on some hexies this week. I did start a bird of happiness, and then I just wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with my bird of happiness, so I ripped it out. Now, you may recall that I've knit my one little hexie, and I completely fell in love with this colorway. This is the one mini I knit with, and I had to have it. I had to have this yarn. And so I got some. And this is Madeline Tosh. I got their Twist Light base, which is merino nylon, I want to say. Yes, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I just upset my Hank. But I want to knit a featherweight with this. I think that will make a gorgeous, gorgeous featherweight. And this is a little blown out. The color isn't as beautiful on my screen as it is in person. I did take a pretty good picture of this and post it to my stash. If you cared about color accuracy or any of that, you could go take a look there. But I'm really happy. And the thing is, Kristen from the Vine podcast, Vine Yarns, Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast, Vine Yarns is her yarn company, is hosting a featherweight knit along. And it's already started. I think it started at the start of fall, and it's going on until the start of winter. So I have plenty of time if I wanted to pass this on, but I am going to knit my Rosemont before I start another sweater, one sweater at a time. Or, if I get done with my fall cardigan, I might justify having 2 sweaters on the needles. So I got that on Tuesday when I was running errands in town. I popped in there and got some yarn because I needed it. And they had all of those all sitting pretty and ready for me. So I picked those up, and then yesterday when I went in, they have everything. As soon as I walk in, there's a table, and it has all this little stuff, various notions and minis and random stuff on this display. So they had some packaged minis. They caught my eye straight away. Sorry about the crinkling. And they're not showing up very good in there. Just let me pull them out. I should have done this already. So sorry. So sorry. It's an exciting noise, right? It's like new packaging. So they had these minis packaged together. There we go. Happy fall, y'all. Are those not the cutest fall-esque minis you've ever seen? And since I'm doing those leaves and those pumpkins, I was like, heck yes, I can have more. These are so cute. This one, I believe, they're all Madeline Tosh DK weight. This one I think is Tart. This one is Cardinal. This one is Daffodil, which this is my favorite colorway presently. Every single base that they have at the yarn shop, I keep on picking up this colorway. And I'm like, I need to knit something like that. And I did. My 3-color cashmere cow has daffodil in it. And then this one is also daffodil, just a different section. And then this one is charred. So, also, they have all of these leaves hanging that someone made with felt. And it's just beautiful. They have them on strings hanging from the windows. I thought my girls would love making those. I got these felts. All different colors. Browns, reds, and yellows, and oranges. And so this is what we're going to do this weekend. We are going to make fall decorations for our house. They have this hat pattern. You know, there's knit samples all over the shop like they do. That way you know what a yarn looks like when it's knit up. And a few days ago I was in Joann's and they had just a little sampler knit of this beautiful stitch, and I didn't know what it was. I went into the yarn shop and they had a hat knit out of the same stitch, because when I saw the stitch sampler I was like, oh, that would be a really cute hat. And they had a hat knit out of this stitch, and it's called the honeycomb stitch, if you know it. And so the hat was the Tweety honeycomb toque, however you say that. I needed to knit it. And this yarn is called Glazed Pecan. Does that not just scream fall? And also, is that not extremely fitting for a honeycomb hat? Yes. So, I probably won't cast this on for a while. There's so many projects that I want to make. But I don't know, I might, because it is fall. I will need a hat before it gets cold. And I want to knit one. And I really, really love that colorway. And the name, Glazed Pecan. That just sounds yummy. I want to take a bite of it. So Etrella hasn't been working on her knitting very much. She's been reading a lot, so no projects to show from her. We are going to, my knitting group is hosting a fall festival night, a costume kind of party. We're going to watch Hocus Pocus and knit, eat snacks. So she's going to go with me with that. It's going to be on a Friday, so I don't have to worry about getting her back for school or anything. That's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to taking her up there and introducing her to my knitting group. But that is all that I have for you today. Thanks so much for joining me, as always. I hope that you come over in the group, join my knit along, introduce yourselves, tell me what you're working on. Thanks. Happy knitting.